Is lower back pain limiting you in the gym or just doing daily activities? Are you unsure what you should or shouldn't be doing? In this video, I'm going to give you 18 tips and tricks to reduce your lower back pain and make your rehab 10 times more effective. If you took two people and you sent them in for an MRI scan on their back, person A has got no lower back pain and person B has got really chronic loads of back pain. Person A goes in, their scan's really bad. There's loads of damage at the back, bulging discs, all sorts, and the doctor says there's a lot of issues, even though initially they reported no lower back pain. Person B, who's got really bad lower back pain, they go in and there's no damage on the scan whatsoever. The point of this is that scans don't tell you the full story. Pain is a lot more complex than just more pain equals more damage. And I'll get onto this a little bit later on. So continuing on with this theme, diagnosis doesn't actually mean a lot. You might have been diagnosed with particular things like having a slip disc, a bulging disc, certain conditions at the spine. And then as a follow-on, being told to avoid particular movements like bending over, twisting, or certain sports. Doctors are amazing at what they do in terms of reading scans, in terms of doing surgeries, in terms of giving you pain relief. But in terms of actually rehabbing active people or people who want to get back to sport or doing activities, they haven't got a lot of experience there. I'm not trying to shit on doctors, I'm just being realistic here. And so when someone comes to me with lower back pain, I'm not particularly bothered about diagnosis. I'm more looking at where are they weak and where can we focus on first and foremost to reduce their pain and start to improve physical qualities like mobility, strength, confidence, which again, I'll get onto later on in the video. This leads into our next point, which is this fear of quote unquote unsafe movements. A lot of people have been told to avoid bending over, avoid potentially heavy lifting. There's a lot of different things and a lot of random things that many doctors or coaches or people you've seen on Instagram or YouTube might have told you. 99% of the time, you just don't have the capacity and the experience in those positions, and that's why you've got pain there. If your back pain was triggered by you rounding through your back and bending over to pick something up, well, maybe you've actually never trained your back in that position when it's rounded. Your back is actually designed to round as well as just be bolt upright all the time. That's why we have vertebrae in our back. It's designed to round, it's designed to twist, it's designed to move a lot. If you haven't got the capacity to access these quote unquote unsafe positions, then no wonder you're getting hurt in them. So the key isn't to avoid them, it's to use gradual progressions to get back to these quote unquote unsafe positions, but to have the strength and the confidence and the capacity to be able to train in these positions. So a lot of people might have told you that posture is really important when it comes to lower back pain. And if you have a bad posture, this is the reason for your lower back pain, or you're more likely to develop lower back pain if you have a bad posture. There's no such thing as good and bad posture. And all the research points to this, and the research also points to the fact that there's no link between lower back pain and quote unquote good posture, which a lot of people think is sitting bolt upright, and bad posture, which is slouching through your shoulders and rounding through your back. What the evidence and research and my own in-person experience does say is that people who are stuck in one position for a long period of time are more likely to develop lower back pain. And that's regardless of if you're sat at a desk all day or if you're standing in one position all day. The key thing here is trying to change your posture and position as frequently as you can. Lifestyle modifications for this could be, if you're sat at a desk all day, then buy a standing desk and don't just stand all day, but alternate between the two. Spend 20 to 30 minutes sitting down and then 20 to 30 minutes stood up or kneeling. Just be in different postures and positions. Don't hyper-obsess over good and bad postures. If you've been dealing with lower back pain for a long period of time or it's incredibly painful, you've probably been to have a sports massage. What typically ends up happening is you feel really good a few minutes, a few hours, maybe even a few days or a week after the massage. But then the lower back pain starts to creep back in. And you end up going around this cycle where you get a massage, you get some short-term pain relief, and then you have to go back to whoever's giving you the massage, you get the short-term pain relief again, and you're stuck in this pain cycle. Hands-on treatment doesn't give you long-term relief. And the reason for this is because as you continue to get these massages, you're actually losing all the qualities that you need to improve to fix your lower back pain. You're not improving your mobility, you're not improving your strength, you're not improving your confidence because of that. And therefore your pain could actually stay the same, or it could potentially get worse. And you start to lose these qualities because, in essence, massage is just resting. Someone rubbing your back isn't you in the gym. You're not training and you're not working on these qualities. Going back to my earlier point about how pain is complex, I'm going to expand on that a little bit. A lot of people, again, think that pain equates to damage. And the more pain you're in, the more damage you must have at a particular area. But just have a look at this diagram that I pulled from a recent bit of research on back pain, actually. You've got pain in the middle, and then you've got all of these different factors around it that influence pain. You've got your beliefs about back pain, about your injury. You've got sleep, you've got nutrition, you've got genetics, you've got how much you exercise, how active you are, what's your occupation, how stressed you are. Did you have any childhood trauma? Have you got any psychological issues? Look how many different things they are. So when someone simplifies pain and says, oh, it's just because of this, you have to understand that pain is very nuanced. And when you have more pain on a particular day and you have flare-ups with your lower back, try not to overanalyze it and place on one particular thing. More than likely, it's more influenced by your lifestyle habits and certain things that are happening in your life. Maybe you're experiencing a period of higher stress. Maybe you're not sleeping as well. Maybe you're drinking more alcohol than usual. Maybe you're smoking more than usual because you're stressed. So how can you manage flare-ups and track your pain? Well, I mentioned to not overanalyze things when it comes to flare-ups, but the easiest way to track your pain is to use the pain score scale. So imagine a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is no pain, and 10 is the max pain you can imagine. So let's say being hit by a car or breaking a bone. During rehab, and as you start to develop mobility, strength, confidence, and you start to work towards fixing your lower back, we don't want you to go above a 3 out of 10 pain score. A little bit of pain is okay during rehab. What we're more concerned about is our particular exercises, our particular activities are making the pain better or worse. Don't be alarmed if particular exercises are giving you a little bit of pain. Track this, note this down on your phone, or in a diary somewhere, and then day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, depending on how long rehab takes, how long you've had lower back pain previously, you want to see those pain scores decreasing and ideally going down to 1 to 2 out of 10 and down to 0 in an ideal world. You want to look at this over the long term and don't get hung up about having either bad days or even bad weeks. In most cases, this irons itself out and you're going to have plenty of dips and troughs in your rehab. But over the months, over the years, as I said, you want a positive trajectory where your pain is decreasing. This leads on to my next point, which is that rehab takes time. If you've had chronic back pain for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, or maybe 10, 15 years, don't expect to be fixed in one session. And if you go to a physio or a chiropractor and they do some hands-on treatment, or a chiro clicks your back and they say it's going to take 1 or 2 sessions to fix you, they are lying to you in 99% of cases. If you've had chronic back pain for years and years, then it could take that length of time to quote unquote fix it, whatever your definition of fix it is. If that's being pain-free or getting back to that sport activity that you like doing. If you only had lower back pain for a few weeks or a few months, this is a completely different ballgame, and it might only take that length of time to fix it. Have you had previous injuries that could impact this as well at your lower body or upper body? Because the body works as a whole, it's a collective system. And if you've had knee injuries, you've had ankle injuries, you've had shoulder injuries, you've had neck injuries, and then you have lower back pain as well, it can really affect the recovery process. Consistency over intensity is the next point. There's no point in starting lower back rehab and trying to do 5, 6 sessions a week, doing rehab every day. Consistency is way more important. If initially you can only do 2 or 3 rehab sessions a week, that's absolutely fine. Because again, if you've been dealing with lower back pain for a long period of time, there's no point trying to sprint for a few weeks and then you completely bin off the exercises and you stop doing it. So the easiest way to do this is, start off with minimum effective dose, so how many sessions you can actually stick to per week, how many sessions, how long are they going to be, and then also track and tick off when you've done the sessions, either on your phone, on your computer, or in a diary. What doesn't get tracked doesn't get measured. If you can track this and be consistent with it, you build up a nice feedback loop in your head, and you create some dopamine where you're ticking off all your rehab sessions every week, and you create a positive feedback loop. As opposed to trying to fit in 6 rehab sessions a week, 7 rehab sessions a week, and you only do half of them, or you only do 2 or 3, and you feel bad, and then you stop doing rehab. So some really good early stage exercises that you can start doing straight away to get your lower back feeling better and to get everything moving. Number 1 is going to be supine breathing and reaching. So you're going to lie on your back, as I'm doing, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Scoop your shoulder blades off the floor, have your palms up to the ceiling, slight elbow bend, and then you're going to inhale through your nose and then exhale through your mouth. Once you've exhaled, hold for as long as you can. Lock down your abs and core, so your lower back is flat into the floor, and then do 2, 3, 4 reaches, scooping your shoulder blade more and more off the floor and reaching your hands towards the ceiling. Do as many as you can while holding your breath, then repeat. So inhale again, smoothly through your nose, exhale, close down your abs and core, lower back flat into the floor, and then you're moving everything higher up. So you're trying to get your back, your rib cage moving, and then scooping your shoulder blades off the floor again. So we're trying to create some rounding in the mid and upper back. Exercise number 2 is just going to focus on getting lower back moving. So some pelvic tilts. Lie on your back, same position. I want you to imagine your pelvis is a bottle of water, and you're going to gently tip that bottle of water forward, so your lower back is off the floor, so you've got a nice little arch in your lower back, and then tip your pelvis back, so your lower back is flat into the floor. If you're getting pain in any of these end ranges, then just back off by a few inches. That's the best way to decrease pain. Just simply decrease the range of motion. So if you can only tip your pelvis forward a little bit, and then you can only tip it back a little bit, and you can't fully arch your back, or you can't fully tuck your pelvis, start in a smaller range for even the first few sets, or even a few days, a few weeks, depending on the person, and then slowly increase it. Don't try fight tension with tension and push through what your body doesn't want you to do. It won't let you get there if you're getting pain with it. Once you've got that movement nailed, then you can pair some breathing with it. So as you tip your pelvis forward and your lower back is off the floor, you're going to inhale smoothly through your nose. And then as you roll your pelvis back and your lower back is flat into the floor, you're going to exhale smoothly through your mouth. Run through again 2 to 3 sets of anywhere from 5 to 10 breaths. The next exercise is going to focus on getting the hips moving a little bit better, which a lot of people with lower back pain really struggle with hip mobility, and it can be a big factor. So lie on your side, knees at 90 degrees, your feet are going to go flat on the wall and your body is coming away from the wall. Your feet don't move. So imagine you've got super glue on the bottom of your feet, they don't move off the wall. Pop one hand on that top leg, and you're going to gently shift that top leg over the bottom leg. So rolling that top knee over the bottom knee, all the way over as far as you're comfortable, and then all the way back as far as you're comfortable. Do this as slowly and controlled as you can. Your feet shouldn't be coming off the wall as you're doing this, and you want to limit the amount of torso rotation as well. 99% of that movement should be coming from your glute and your hip, and it should feel like quite a nice weird opening sensation at your glute and around your lower back as well. Run through 15 to 20 reps on each side, and you can do this for 2 to 3 sets. So the next important aspect I want to talk about is hinging. What is a good hinge, and why is this important for lower back rehab? Well, a lot of people with lower back pain really struggle to use their glutes properly when they're hinging. So when you do exercises like deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, anything like that, you tend to feel the sensation in your lower back or your hamstrings, not your glutes. Why do we want the sensation to be in your glutes? Why do we want your glutes doing most of the work? Well, the glutes are the bigger muscle group, and bigger muscles leave clues. It's the reason at your back, you've got your lats are one of the biggest muscles in your back. It's why your lower body, your glutes, are really, really big compared to your quads, hamstrings, calves. It's because we were designed for those muscles to be doing most of the work. So big muscles leave those clues. If they're not doing most of the work, this can cause issues where in hinging movements, your lower back is taking too much slack and your hamstrings are taking too much slack. They're doing too much of the work. So a simple drill to get your glutes firing without involving your hamstrings and lower back is the kickstand hinge. So you're going to use a light med ball, 1 to 2 kilos, or a light weight if you haven't got that. You're going to set up in this staggered stance. So you're first going to stand on one leg, a little knee bend to get your weight onto that leg. Then you're going to pop your back leg down just for a little bit of support as a tripod. So your weight is still forward, you're still maintaining that knee bend. Then, with the med ball or the weight, you're going to relax your shoulders, relax your arms and just hold that out in front of you. Then we're going to hinge. So you're going to send your hips back while you keep your weight forward. So the weight in your hand will encourage you to do this. You're going to hinge as deeply as you can while not losing your back position. You're going to get to that end range where you feel comfortable and you haven't lost your back position and you almost feel like you're hanging over that front leg. You should feel your glutes working really hard in this bottom position. If you don't and you feel your lower back, you've rounded through your back and you've hinged too far for what you can manage for now, or your weight isn't far forward enough. If your weight is back, you will feel it in your hamstrings, and if you've lost that knee bend as well, you'll feel it in your hamstrings. Hold this bottom position for 30 seconds and run through 3 to 4 sets. This is going to give you a really nice stretch at the glutes and get them working, teach you to hinge a lot better. This is counterintuitive to how you might have deadlifted or did RDLs previously, where your hips go back, but your weight also goes into your heels, which will primarily target the hamstrings. We want your hips back and your weight to stay forward. The next thing that's really important with lower back rehab is to continue or start doing upper and lower body strength days at the gym. If you're already doing some sort of gym work, when you've got lower back pain, this is amazing. But a lot of people, when they get lower back pain, they stop doing all other exercise because, again, they're told to by particular doctors or coaches. This is one of the worst things you can do because you're going to lose a lot of upper and lower body strength, which is obviously really important for general performance in sports, general mobility, general health, all of these different things. Mentally, you'll really struggle if you're not going to the gym and you have done previously. It's really important. But if you're getting pain with movements you've done previously, then how do you train lower body muscle groups, upper body muscle groups? Well, the simplest way to adjust for lower back pain, if it's really bad, is to just jump on machines. Machines get a bit of a bad rep, but they're really, really effective. For example, if you're getting lower back pain from doing squats and deadlifts, well, instead of doing squats for your quads, you could jump on a quad extension machine. For your deadlifts, to work on your hamstrings, you could do a hamstring curl. And then for your glutes, you could do something like a kickstand hinge, which I just spoke about, or you could do something like a hip thrust, which puts a lot less stress on the lower back. There's loads of different machines: hip, abductor, and adductor. You've got seated calf raises, upper body. You've got seated press. You've got lat pull down machine. You've got all these different things. With most people, they can do a lot more free weights on their upper body and not have lower back pain. The deadlifts and the squats tend to be the issue. Minimum effective dose, if you're not already doing some sort of strength training, would be 3 days a week. A really nice simple split. If you play a sport or you just want to keep fit and go to the gym, is 1 lower body day, 1 upper body day, and 1 full body day. Next, we move on to plyometrics. Now, these are not something I would typically introduce early on in lower back rehab because they can cause a bit of irritation if your back is really painful, but they're really important before you get back into sport especially. Sport is done at maximal intensity. So, like when you're sprinting or you change your direction or you're grappling with someone in jiu-jitsu, you're not going a lot of the time at 40, 50, 60, 70%. You're going all out. You're going at 100%. So you need to be prepared for this, and your back and your lower back needs to be prepared for this. So you need to work on speed. Plyometrics are the best way to do this. For your back, med ball, throws and slams in different positions are amazing for this. You can start off at higher rep ranges, 8 to 10 reps for 3 to 4 sets at 60 to 70% of your 1 rep max. I mean 1 rep max in terms of max power you're putting down with the med ball. As you progress, decrease the reps, go down to 5 reps, 3 reps, and increase the power. At the end stage, it might be like 3 sets of 3 reps with variety of med ball slams and throws, 3 to 4 different variations at max power with no pain. Next, we've got lifestyle. So the 3 important things here that I'm going to brush over really quickly. Make sure you're getting 7 to 9 hours of good quality sleep. Make sure you're eating well, so you're hitting 1.5 grams of protein per kilo of body weight every day. And make sure you're getting enough carbohydrates if you train a lot as well. Then in terms of stress day to day, make sure ideally you're doing a job that you like doing. I know you can't pick that for everyone, but this makes a massive difference, and just make sure you're fairly organized and you're using systems in place and not reacting to emotions. A lot of things that build up in your personal life affect how your lower back's feeling and affects other things as well. Another quick thing is try to find an activity or sport that you love doing, because this is going to make the process of rehab a lot easier to stick to if you have that as an end goal. The next thing is daily movement. So make sure you're aiming for between 5 to 10K steps a day. This is really important for general cardio, mood, reducing stress, and general full body mobility. It's really underrated for that. This could be little 5-10 minute walks at lunch, in the morning, later on. It hasn't got to be massive half-an-hour walks. Just break it up into small, manageable chunks. Then we've got cardio. So this could be, you do this in your sport already, so you haven't really got to do anything extra. But if you're just going to the gym, I'd recommend 1 to 2 extra cardio sessions, either zone 2, which is at a lower intensity for half an hour to 60 minutes. This could be going for a bike ride, swimming, running, or you could do interval training, where you're doing something like 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off for 6 to 8 rounds. The last point I want to make is, how do you stay strong and healthy after rehab? Well, the perfect weekly split in my eyes, once someone is healthy, pain-free, and they've finished rehab, they've been cleared from that, is minimum 3 days of strength, as I spoke about, 1 lower body day, 1 upper body day, 1 full body day. And at the start of those, ideally, plyometrics as well to work on speed, then into some strength qualities, and then into some accessories. So to break this down a little bit further, on the lower body day, it might start with some hops and bounds, some pogos to work on speed. Then it might go into a max effort lift. So a variation of a deadlift, a variation of a squat, a variation of a power clean. This is working on max strength, working close to your 1 rep max, building to a heavy single, double, or triple. Then after that, it would be accessories, your usual lower body stuff, quad extensions, hamstring curls, etc., etc. Then on the upper body day, again, upper body plyometrics, so med ball slams, variations of this. Then it would be building to a variation of a strict press, muscle up, chin up, dip for a max effort. So 1 rep max, 2 rep max, a 3 rep max, then accessories. And then on the full body day, I would have that more focused on speed instead of max strength. So on that, you could do a lot more plyometrics, a mix of the two, jumps, bounds, hops for the lower body, change of direction, and then some med ball slams in there as well. And then for your speed work with a barbell, you could do some lighter weights going at a faster bar speed. So maybe more like Olympic lifting. You could do some power cleans, you could do variations of snatches. I'll do a separate video about this whole method in a little bit more detail. So that 3-day split for a lot of sports is going to give you all the qualities you need in terms of mobility, speed, strength. And then if you want to plug in any additional bits of cardio, if you don't do a lot of that in your sport, then feel free to do that. By the way, if you're interested in working with me one-to-one to help fix your lower back pain, just check out the top link in the description down below. Or if you want 33 game-changing lessons in 33 days about how to fix your injury, it's going to completely blow your mind, just check out the second link down below.